Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Shadow Generations. We have some challenges to do, and then we have our boss fight with a certain someone that we don't really remember because the timeline got erased. Huzzah!
Yay,
All
Crystal
right.
Bitch. So in between recordings, everyone here collectively just wants to say, if you brought Sonic Frontiers on the Switch, you're an idiot.
I didn't say nothing. I don't want any part of it.
Ted said it first. Ted was like, I'm going to drown everyone who bought Frontiers on the Switch. I thought that was a bit insane myself, but...
Honestly, I respect the hustle.
Honestly, Sonic Frontiers already plays like a Switch game on other platforms, so, you know.
Yeah, that was my question, because we were talking about different Sonic games and whatnot, and I know that Sonic Frontiers has a reputation for interesting performance, which I guess is fitting considering this is a Frontiers stage, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Ties it all in. Good job, Ted.
Yeah, we're relevant, I swear. So I was just wondering, like, if it's bad on everything else, how bad is it on Switch? And I was told by these fine gentlemen that apparently it runs good enough.
The only real difference from my observations, because again, I've only witnessed folks play the Switch version because I have it on Steam and PS5, is obviously you have a lower resolution because the Switch does not have the same resolution aspects of other consoles, and I think you're locked at 30 frames no matter what.
Yeah.
In terms of everything else, though, the graphical pop-in, all that shit, that's in every version of the game.
Yeah.
You just cannot avoid that.
I mean, I started it. I played most of Frontiers on the PS4, but then when I got the PS5, I was able. That's one thing I do like about the PS5 is some games would let you upgrade for free, and I mean, obviously, like it's. I will say both Superstars and Frontiers. Frontiers makes more sense, though, but run a lot better on PS5. Again, I said this during Superstars. The fact that it is optimized so poorly for the PS4 when the game is that basic blows my fucking mind. To be honest with you.
Yeah, well, it's optimized poorly for PC as well, so there's that.
That said, to go back to like the Chaos Island level, because we barely touched upon it last time, because of Doom Morph and all that sort of thing. Like, I love that Chaos Island is just an actual full-on level, because I think we can agree that Chaos Island was kind of like everyone's least favorite island in Frontiers.
The best meme for that was when people, again, to go back to Twitter, we'd be like, Chaos Island, and they would just post that screenshot from the Mania trailer, a brand new 2D experience. Which was really the problem with Chaos Island. It was like, it was almost virtually 2D, and they did almost nothing with the volcano was implemented. It's like, why have a fucking volcano if I can't do anything cool with it, you know?
The real issue was that it would yank the camera away from you while you're running across the island.
Yes.
Just because you got too close to a 2D challenge. And it's like, I don't mind there being 2D challenges, but, you know, if you're going to have that many of them on an open island, put them higher up in the air at least.
And that said, like, despite like the Doom Morph shit that we've already got into, I think the level is otherwise fine. Like, I think it makes for because I think it's categorically the last level, right? Like, it is this game's Planet Wisp. And one, it's not nearly as long, thankfully. Two, I think the aesthetic works very well. You won't find any graphical pop-up, at least compared to Frontiers.
That would have been a cute detail if you saw all the rails.
This time it's deliberate. But I think like my only sour point outside of Doom Morph is I don't like their mixes that much for the zones. Chaos Island was one of my favorite field themes in Frontiers. All iterations of it, because there's like 7 versions of that theme as you progress in the story.
7 movements,
Yeah, thank you. 7 movements in hand. But I'm not exactly down with like the remixes for this game specifically. I think it's maybe because I think it's too, I guess, EDM. It's as the genre that's being used here. I don't know.
You said that, Johnny. All of the comments are gonna be like, "Oh, he hates EDM. Kill him." If you go on any seriously, you guys go on look up any YouTube video of just like music from this game. So many people will be there like anyone who hates this music just hates EDM.
Well, no, because there's a part of it, and I'm sorry, I can't unhear it. But my friend Jason, I think it was either for Act 1 or Act 2, the 3D or 2D one. Part of the song sounds like someone snoring, like someone sleeping. It was like whoop, 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 like that sort of shit. It was like, that's someone sleeping.
I haven't gone out of my way to listen to a lot of the music for this, but I did look up the Supporting Me remix for this after the previous session, and there's none of the vocal tracks are in it. Like, there was a part 1 and a part 2, so I was expecting, like, oh, the first part of the boss fight will be just the instrumentals, and then the lyrics will kick in for the second half of the boss fight, which would be pretty cool, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if they did that. But no, it's just, they don't play the lyrics, and the incomprehensible lyrics are part of the song's charm, like Nirvana.
Can I just say, now that they're like 5 minutes off screen, that everything involving Maria and Gerald Robotnik is hitting me in the feels like whenever I see it. It's just like,
good.
It's just like, you know, way to take the leavings of a pretty terrible series of stories, and, you know, Sonic Adventure 2, which is good but poorly translated. And, you know, turn it into something kind of heartfelt here. Like,
Gerald Robotnik is a really hard character to write because he's two entirely different characters that there's very little link between.
Yeah.
Depending on the game, yes, he's very different.
There's like the Gerald Robotnik that is implied to exist before Maria dies, where he's supposed to be a kindly, if somewhat desperate, old man. And then there's the genocidal maniac after Maria dies.
But we only ever got to see both of those characters after the fact in video footage recording them. We got to see Gerald's, like, message to his, like, basically his, I'm gonna fucking kill you because you killed my granddaughter, post-death recording message. And then his recorded message to Shadow, where it's meant to be a message he left to inform Shadow of what happened with Black Doom, which was always a confusing action for me, because how would he have known he wouldn't be around by that point? Well, now we have the answer, because he experienced this game. For some
also,
fucking...
he
it's
knows
like,
that
Louis,
he also knows that the comic comes every
interesting.
50 years, and he's like 60 years old in this. So, assuming
Yeah.
he won't live to be 110, I think is a safe assumption.
there wasn't that much time between when he died and when Shadow woke up. It was just like, what? 20
Well, no,
wanna
because
say,
he knows that Black Doom's gonna come back in 50 years, right?
Maybe.
So
yeah.
if Shadow
he
needs
does, yeah.
information when Black Doom's here, that's going to be
Well,
50
that's-
years from when he recorded it. And so he knows he would probably be dead.
That's true, but at the same time, like, how would he have? Why would he have done that as soon as he did, and not gotten caught off guard by, you know, Gunn fucking coming in and killing everyone? You know,
Because this series is not well
I think
written.
it's because like I think there's an indecipherable amount of time between when Gerald made that video for Shadow and when shit started going FUBAR with God.
I always assume, maybe this was me, because you know how in like SA2, Gerald's like, he's like, fuck you video, that's like him tied to the chair before he gets, you know,
Yeah.
gunned down. I always thought that the footage in Shadow the Hedgehog was the same time. It's like, Shadow, if you're listening to this, he's a fucking alien. Fuck you, everyone! And then he gets shot in the head.
well, no,
That is also
well, no,
something
because
that doesn't-
Maria pops up in that footage. So, you know.
Oh, she does? Okay, because I haven't gone back to replay Shadow the Hedgehog in a while, so I just always
shit.
I just always thought it was the same time.
Well, you know, it's just something in my brain. I don't forget the big-eyed alien girl when
Shadow,
she pops
I
up.
love
Yeah.
you, but fuck everybody else.
The ghost of Maria wants to talk to you now.
They weren't completely thoughtless when writing Gerald's part in that story.
All right, I gotta say that this is my favorite fucking boss fight in the game.
Yes. However, I'm so happy Crystal Bitch is here, and no disrespect, I do not like his new voice. He sounds nothing like Dan Green.
I do
He
not
sounds
mind this
nothing
voice.
like-
I do miss Dan Green.
No, but see, the thing is, for me, it's not so much. It's like the voice doesn't sound like him, and the way he acts sounds nothing like Dan Green. If one of them was like the same, either the voice or the way he spoke his lines was anything resembling original Mephiles, to me, like, this may as well be a new character. The way he speaks and acts.
Yeah,
I'd argue no, because it's the
I'd
same
argue, fuck
character,
you.
but it's post 06.
yeah. He just said he was going to restore himself to the timeline.
And that is the most interesting thing I find about this battle.
He acts so whiny.
He still remembers everything from 06. And like a big thing about like the back and forth between these two in this fight is that he realizes, oh shit, I have an opportunity to get back in the timeline. And
There's an air of desperation in his voice. Like he's kind of like, I need to exist. I can't die again. I have to kill you here. I don't want to be erased.
Exactly. And like honestly, like kudos, I feel kind of bad for the fuck. Like,
It would have.
It never would have happened, but I would have loved it if there was like when they first like if Mephiles' opening line was like Shadow, we meet again. It never would have happened. I would love to know if Shadow just went, who the hell are you?
Well, he just said that. He's like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And
but like,
Mephiles is like, you forgot me, you piece of shit.
Also, at some point, Mephiles should have been like, Shadow, remember when I stabbed Sonic in the back? That was cool, right? High five.
I think they honestly should have gotten Dan Green to voice the character.
Same.
Just
I would agree, yes.
Since he's the only voice actor who's ever voiced the character, and this is only the character's second appearance, it would have been a nice callback. But
Saying that though, it's just like they didn't bring back Sean Schemmel for Black Doom. They had Ben Diskin, I think was his name.
yeah,
And also same with Metal Overlord. They didn't. So in Sonic Heroes, Ryan Drummond voiced Neo Metal Sonic Metal Overlord. They put like a big filter. Roger Craig Smith doesn't voice Metal Overlord. They brought in a new person, and I'm like, stop that. Bring back the original.
I have to wonder, like, to what degree does voice actor union weirdness and contractual, like, fine print nonsense factor into their choice not to bring the actor back?
Well, Sean Schemmel said he auditioned again for Black
For
Doom.
Black
and he
Doom,
only,
really?
Yeah, because he voiced him in the original. He said, if I remember correctly, he said he auditioned, and then he didn't realize he didn't get it until the first trailer came out, and he's like, that's not my voice. So I clearly didn't get the part this time around, you know? But again, it's like, I understand sometimes, like, the 4Kids, you know, like, a lot of those either don't have either aren't part of a union or like this weird shit like that, which I understand. But again, it's like, if you're gonna recast, like, really, unless I would have been told, if you would have just told me Sean Schemmel came back for Black Demon, I'd be like, yeah, I can kind of hear that. That checks out. If you would have told me Dan Green came back from Mephiles, I'd be like, can I have some of the drugs you're smoking? Because that sounds nothing like Dan Green, you know.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Dan Green's usual voice is a lot more distinct and recognizable than Black Doom ever was. Black Doom's just kind of a generic growly evil alien voice.
every time we make fun of Black Doom, we're just doing a Dr. Claw voice.
Yeah, we're just doing the Dr. Claw or unprocessed sound wave. That's all Black Doom's voice is.
Yeah, so like not recasting Black Doom makes sense. There wasn't anything particularly identifiable or distinct about his vocal
But he
performance.
auditioned. That's why I don't get
I
the way he
know.
fucking auditioned for it. Why not hire him?
It is a bit weird that there was even an audition for Black Doom in the first place,
Yes.
considering the voice. But you know, my point is like it's way more important for a character like Mephiles to have a recognizable voice, and it baffles me that the decision makers behind the voice casting didn't see that.
Now, I don't remember anything about the original fight in Sonic 06. Is this anything like how he fought in that
No.
game? No?
This is a
No,
much
this is
better
so-
fight
this
in
is so
every way.
cool. Yeah.
It's more reminiscent, honestly, of the cutscene that happens after the Mephiles boss fight, where he spawns
Yes.
an army of clones, and the camera fades out on Shadow just chaos blasting right through them with his inhibitor rings remote. Which is the only time that ever comes up in game.
Lewis, I will say, not to interrupt you there, but I wish that section there was either playable or there was some kind of cute, not just pressing square once, but like that shit is so cool to look at. Like, I want to be able to do that in the game. I want to jump around and punch him.
Speaking of 06, though, have you guys heard the interview from the producer of this game saying he wants a do-over of 06?
Yeah.
We already have Project 06. It's fine. It's
Well,
not-
no. No, because Project 06
Luke's
is
just like, no, damn it, no.
Project 06 is good as a mechanical overhaul of the existing game. What I want to see is that story done right.
I agree.
I think that you're better off pushing. Like, I mean, obviously, fan projects are a different thing, and I find it interesting to see a fan reinterpretation of that. But in terms of like what the studio is looking towards, and like John mentioned in a previous part, that just ignoring what you did in the past isn't necessarily the best thing. But with that said, I think there's better things for them to be doing than remaking 06.
I want SA1 and SA2 remade before 06.
Well, yes.
I want those two done before 06.
Yes, I would say so too, but I would also say that for the current direction of the series, a bit more serious in tone, more emphasis on continuity, and open world design, Sonic 06 is a perfect fucking fit,
Yeah, I can see that, but honestly, I would rather them just do another 06 style game than remake 06 at this point.
Maybe.
That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I would be fine with either, but when you look back at the ambition behind 06's development, where they were trying to implement stuff like day-night cycles and everything, that's Sonic Frontiers.
It's not quite the same thing, I realize, but I think of Resident Evil and how they've been knocking it out of the park. Well, for the most part, you can debate Resident Evil 3 remake. With the remakes, RE remake was great, RE2 remake was great, RE4 remake was great. People are really clamoring for Code Veronica and Zero remakes next. Not necessarily because, it makes sense to, remake those games, but also because the originals weren't that good. For me specifically.
Both original games, more specifically, had excellent ideas implemented in their design. They were just rough.
Yes. And 06, I think we could all agree, is rough. To put it lightly.
To put it lightly, yeah.
By that logic, remake Rise of Lyric. There you go. There's a real challenge.
Listen. If the end result is a much better product, there's nothing to lose. We have everything to gain.
I mean, I'm all for it. I always believe if you're going to remake games, why not the bad ones? Remake bad
because they're
games.
bad.
And
with
improve
movies,
them.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a great X6 for Mega Man than just the X6 we have.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
But again, I want SA1 and SA2 first. Before 06. Do that first.
You got to eat your peas before you get your dessert, Karen.
No, I want my dessert now, damn it!
Go to your room.
Oh!
So the thing for me is that I agree in that remaking games that didn't work out well but had good ideas is awesome. With that said, I think remaking games that had good ideas but that games that people actually like is better, which is why I think that, because here's the thing, people have fond memories of Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2, and so remaking those games I think will bring more happiness, because those games also have cool ideas that were unutilized and could be fleshed out more than remaking Sonic 06, which far fewer people have fond memories of.
I think Ted, to go with that, I think a problem could be with remaking. Well, in theory, yes, remaking a bad game makes more sense. I think sometimes though, especially with a game like Sonic 06, which has been universally the gaming industry's punching bag for 15 years, there's so much baggage with that I don't know if anyone, aside from fans or people with an open mind, would engage with it sincerely.
Yeah, that's why it being a fan project is such a cool thing, because you can see, as a passion project, people who love this series take something that was universally panned and make it, I haven't played it, but apparently the 06 mod's surprisingly good.
It's great. No, dude, Project Ghost, and I'm sure Johnny can attest to this. Well, I didn't really like base 06 at all. It was a frustrating, buggy mess. I genuinely love Project 06. It's again, if the game had come out and with the same story and issue, but just fixing up all of the problems, the frame rate and the loading times, and just making the control tighter, that game is amazing.
Yeah,
I would agree. Project 06 is a fantastic time.
The thing is, I don't think that people wouldn't engage with it sincerely. Exactly. I think And I think that there would be a transitional period at the start if they remade 06 where people were engaging with it tongue-in-cheek, yes. But I think that after people, like, had time playing with it, that it would be, you know, accepted as a good game and people would engage with it on those terms. The thing is that the gaming industry and the discourse surrounding the gaming industry and the movie industry and every other entertainment industry alive is...
Hey, Shadow, guess what? Radical Highway time!
Way too goddamn obsessed with immediate results.
Yes.
It's also such a risk, too. These industries also hate risk.
Yes. Well, it's the same issue. Immediate results, risk. But, you know, a lot of the best, most enduring games, movies, shows were sleeper hits. They weren't immediate box office smashes that won awards on their first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
On their first 10 minutes outside of the womb. The Elder Scrolls is a household name these days. It released in fucking January. It didn't sell until like the middle of the following year, and it was word of mouth that spread it around, and it's that sleeper hit status that got us the Elder Scrolls 2, 3, 4, and finally Skyrim, which is the definition of open world mainstream today. You know,
It's frustrating because it's only gotten more fast paced with modern social media and whatnot, because nowadays, you know, you do have some things that start off small, but then they get huge, like, immediately afterwards by word of mouth. I'm thinking of games like Pizza Tower and Undertale, where they started off as very small teams making those games, but not too long after their release, they blew up to being huge. And by not too long, I mean a matter of like a month or two. Not, you know, the year or so that some older stuff took to really
difference with that though, Ted, is that your two examples are perfect. They're both indie games. I can't think of a studio like say a big studio like say Sega or EA or something. Unfortunately, allowing that to happen is it's been a month. It's only sold 100,000 games. It's terrible. We're never going to make a game in this franchise again.
Yeah, no, that happens even with games that are
mindset,
successful.
yeah.
Ubisoft's new Prince of Persia game that came out in January this year sold over 1 million copies, is a legitimate Game of the Year contender, and is among my favorite Metroidvanias ever made.
They closed the studio.
They closed the studio that made it.
Wasn't that a big problem with Square Enix and like the Tomb Raider reboots? They would sell like 5 million. They're like, it wasn't. We expected it to sell 20 million, even though it sold more than every other game released this year. It's a failure in our eyes. Yeah,
well, when games cost that much to make, you need to sell that many copies in order for them to be profitable.
I want to mention specifically about Square is that it's not necessarily that they needed that many copies to be profitable. It's the psychology of the company in particular, post Spirits Within, that makes their view toward what a success is.
The Final Fantasy movie?
Yes, the Final Fantasy movie. It damn near fucking ruined them. Did you know?
Oh yeah, yes, because it's a terrible movie. But yeah,
it wasn't just a terrible movie. It was an extremely, extremely, extremely expensive box office bomb.
Because if like at the time, now if you look at it now, it doesn't look like amazing. But at the time, that was like the best looking CGI movie. But I think a lot of people, like, it's Final Fantasy. I know what to expect in a Final Fantasy type movie, and you watch it, and it's nothing like Final Fantasy whatsoever.
You just say to yourself, was that Alec Baldwin?
I think if you're a true Final Fantasy fan, you know never to know what to expect when opening any Final Fantasy.
That debacle was so bad for the company that I think the CEO at the time resigned, a new one took over, and
and they resigned as well.
Their entire ethos was restructured to basically say creativity bad, money good, and that is where we got the dark age of Square Enix. You know,
I will say though, like the movie. If anyone, because I had it on DVD, there was 2 Easter eggs you could find. One where for no reason they animated all of the characters doing the Thriller dance from the Thriller music video.
Oh yeah.
And there was also a thing where they had the main character. And they animated her in a bunch of like Playboy-esque photographs.
Well, yeah.
All I'm saying is that helped me through puberty. Good night, everybody. See you
There's
tomorrow.
a story behind that, but we're already at the end of the part.
Yeah, they were trying to make her a digital actress or some shit. Ugh.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Like, long story short, that's exactly it.
Masturbation. Goodbye.